And welcome back, everybody. Silas here. I'm out here at this yard. This is going to be the first crushing video out of this yard, but we haven't started on the actual yard yet. This is from here, that direction were vehicles that were already here, I guess is the way of saying it. Whereas everything out here behind me is all stuff that has come in the last 3 or 4 days. We've got this Chevy van. You may have seen this in one of my previous videos. Got the bumper guards, got all the parts off of it that we wanted. And then there's just a handful of other vehicles left over here. Got the battery out of that car. Pretty much the only thing I'm not going to crush is the Blazer for now. It's like a 79 Blazer, something like that. Got this burnt car, just bunches of junk. So we've been going through, pulling all the catalytic converters off of them. Pretty well done with that. Working on pulling the aluminum wheels now. But all of these cars over here are ready to crush. I got quite a few converters off. I didn't expect that. But yeah, we're going to do all those cars over there in a separate video. I'm going to go through here and do a junkyard tour before we even start. But I wasn't going to record anything today, but I thought, you know what, crushing some of this stuff like that Chevy van and that Ford van might be kind of interesting, so I figured why not. Plus, like I say, this will be the first crushing video out of this yard, so it felt weird to not at least have the camera out. Well, I guess this is good a spot as any to start stacking the bundles. I'm putting the top bundles on the bottom and the bottom bundles on top. That way, once we start loading trucks, I can just unstack them and load them right into the truck. This bundle here is trying to fold in half on me. I put that rusty Honda or whatever it was on the bottom, and that's probably a mistake. But I only have to pick it up one more time and then it's good. It's crazy. What I'll do is, here in a little bit, I gotta crush a bunch of cars yet today, but maybe later today or tomorrow, I'll take you guys up there and show you around a little bit. One thing I need to do before I do too much is I need to get some hoods pulled off, put down here on the ground. That way when stuff falls out of the crusher, I don't have to pick it up twice. I can just pick the whole hood up and set it on a car and crush it. And then there's still gonna be a little bit on the ground every time, but not nearly as bad as just everything falling on the ground. I should probably save that 8.8 out of this Explorer here, but I don't know. I talked to my dad this morning and he said he would really rather I didn't save too much out of here. He wants me to crush it. So we're gonna crush it. I was just going to line them up, but I kind of want to make a wall. I don't know when we're going to ship these loads, so it might be kind of cool to do it like this. There we go. Scooby-Doo is gonna have to find a different van. There we go. I've got to head out for the day. I've got some people coming out to my place to buy some stuff, but we have a load and a half crushed and on the ground. There's probably another full load still sitting here. We got about 1 million wheels laying around, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and pop the truck bed off of that other red short bed Chevy over there. That way I can just set it there and Lep can stack the wheels in it, and then I can dump it in the dumpster a little bit faster than picking them up one at a time. But yeah, we'll get all of these crushed in the morning. I was about to crush this E150 over here, this newer van, and a guy called me and he said, hey, you got any like mid late 90s Ford vans, like the full size? And I said, you ain't gonna believe this, but I got one on the forks right now. I was about to pull the wheels and crush it. So he just now came out and looked it over and had some parts he needs, so he's gonna come back in the morning and get those. But yeah, it's looking pretty good out here, making pretty good progress, knocking a lot of this stuff out. Don't know if you can see that airplane or not. Just a speck on this camera, but the airport's not far from here, so there's a lot of airplanes fly over here. And it's kind of crazy, that elevator over there, that used to be the world's longest elevator, a mile long, and then there's one of the Hutchinson water towers. So it's just kind of a weird view with those bundles over there and all that cool stuff in the background. Pretty neat out here, and I like how it's back up in here where people don't really know where I'm at. A few people have seen the gate open and just driven in here, which blows my mind. I mean, I wouldn't even think of doing that. Just see a random gate open and just assume that I know the people that are back there, because where the gate's at isn't at the junk. It's right beside the junkyard, but it's not connected to the junkyard unless you come back here and go through another gate. And it says caution, keep out, right on the gate. And so for people just to assume and drive on in, it's just kind of wild to me. I would never consider doing that. So I have had a few people come out and see what's going on, but for the most part, it's been pretty chill today. I am looking forward to opening up this gate and getting in here though. My dad wanted to already get started on it, but I talked him into waiting until I can get in here and film. Like I told him, it'll never be this full again. This is years and years and years of accumulation of cars. Well, I say years, it hasn't really been that many years. This area right here where all these cars are, there's probably, I don't know, a couple thousand cars in this lot, maybe 3,000 cars. And this was an empty field probably 7 years ago, 8 years ago. At that point in time, my dad was out here crushing. We had a car crusher up front, and so he was out here working full time, and I was running one of our other yards, the one where I kind of started filming at in the very beginning. That yard I was running full time, and we had people bringing in load after load after load of cars and iron and just appliances and you name it, everything under the sun. And so I was over there 5 days a week, 6 days a week, crushing cars. So I never had time to come out here and help my dad, and he had to still go haul cars and run this yard, and so he got covered up with all these cars, and that's why so many of them got stacked up, is he just couldn't process everything that came in by himself. But since then, we have pretty well completely cut off buying appliances and little junk and small iron, things like that. We basically just do cars, catalytic converters, aluminum wheels, batteries, big farm equipment, stuff that I can just grab with a loader, unload off their trailer and stick it in the crusher. I don't mind that type of stuff. Tractors. So we've really simplified what we do, and so it's made things a lot more manageable for us, to where we don't get so overwhelmed to where we have to stack the stuff up like this. And truth be told, we could completely quit buying anything at all, just completely quit buying, and we'd still have job security for a decade or longer, probably 2 decades. But we keep buying. Like my dad, he brought in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars today, and he's out. He has 3 more yet to haul today, so he's just going to bring those in and dump them. We'll process them tomorrow. But with him and I working at the same yard, it doesn't take long to get this stuff knocked out. Plus I've got Lep helping me. He's not really technically full-time. Like now it's 3:30 and he had to leave because he's got some other stuff he has to take care of. So while he may not be working full-time out here, and he doesn't work every day, some days, like if I'm at an auction, he goes and does something else. But it's still a huge help having somebody that can help pull the wheels or pull the batteries, or like that Chevy van, he pulled the bumper guards and some emblems for me, just things like that. So right now, anyway, things are going pretty good, but I'm going to head out to the other yard and see, hopefully everybody shows up. I'm going to have to come out here and move these in. I'm out here at my place now, and just bought this truck this morning. I just bought it for scrap. I mean, yeah, it's not in bad condition, but man, these Lodestars are kind of hard to sell. I don't see any rust in this one. I like the color on it. I wish it was a cool truck. I think I can probably sell this nose. It's a little bit beat up right here, but other than that, it's pretty solid. Came from western Kansas, so it probably didn't see much salt, if any. Probably didn't see any, honestly, being a wheat truck. They don't get used in the winter much. Now feed trucks, ones that haul feed out to the cows or whatever, they'll see winter weather, but this one was just a grain hauler, so it never got used in the winter. See, that is one beat up fender. They said it was running. Whew, that That was loud. They said they had it running here about 3-4 years ago, and they were driving around out at the farm, but been sitting ever since. Probably a 345, could be a 305. But yeah, I don't know. I'll shove it out back and probably wind up cutting the nose off, pulling some parts off and crushing it later. Although, like I say, it is a really solid cab, so I've got some rusty ones out back I'll probably crush first and hang on to this one. Then over here I got another International. This one was on Marketplace the other day. Let me get out of that wind. That wind is ripping and roaring today. Well, it's not that bad, but for filming it's kind of annoying. As you can see, it's a major rat nest in here. Got some rust up above the windshield. Definitely seen better days, but there's a lot of good parts on it. And I figured I can cut the back of the cab off for wall hanger. The doors will make wall hangers. The nose will make a wall hanger. It's got all the chrome on it still. Got one beat-in fender over here, but you know, for a wall hanger, that ain't that big of a deal. Lots of good stuff. What's this? Tradewind Industries. Wheat King truck bodies. Liberal, Kansas. Huh. That's pretty cool. That hoist was made right here in Kansas. Liberal's down in southwestern Kansas. This is from a separate video, hauling this one out here. This was out at the other yard. I didn't want to crush it, so I brought it out here, but once again, another International. Lots of Internationals. I got one more guy on the way. He's coming out here to get this hood over here. I told him it's rust-free. I hope I didn't lie. I'm pretty sure this is the rust-free one. Yeah, it's rust-free. It just got some dents in it. Oh, I forgot about that dent there. Well, it's rust-free, so I don't know. We got to pick your poison. That's my last good hood, or last pretty nice hood anyway. It's kind of a weird deal. I had a guy here last week, beginning of the week. I have one of these hoods over there on a front clip. He bought it. The next day, a guy came out and bought this one, and now this guy here, less than a week later, is wanting that one over there. I've had all three of these for probably a year and a half, and they never sold, and now all of them sell within a week. And then I believe I've got this GMC tailgate sold. I'd like to get all this cleaned up in here and clean this whole area out. I've been working on it off and on here and there, just haven't been able to get it quite done. Some of this stuff, like these running boards, I thought I'd sell them, but I can't figure out what they go to. Nobody seems to know, so probably just going to go ahead and scrap those. Got a set of 59 Chevy doors here. This is a passenger door here. It's pretty rough, but both driver's doors are pretty nice. Like I say, that hood's sold, but he's not going to pick that up until the end of the month or so. They got the nose that the hood went to, and what's cool about these Chevy noses, since we're just waiting, killing time, might as well show you guys real quick. Well, actually, I'll show you on the one over here. It's a little bit easier to get to, because these noses, a lot of times I don't like to sell hoods off of my truck noses because it ruins the look of the nose, and then I can't sell the rest of it. But with these here, once you take the hood off, you just take out this row of bolts all the way around there, and all of that support comes off. Here's a older one over here that you can kind of see. All of this brown stuff here with just a row of bolts right across there, that comes off, and then all you see is just the colored part. Then you go ahead and you just cut the fenders, and boom, you're done. Now this one here is going to need a bumper, but actually this is off a big truck, and what I've done in the past is I take these big truck ones and I take my plasma cutter, and let's say we cut it right here through where the 60 is, and you kind of come down here, and then you take your plasma cutter and you just go bzzz right here, and then you go underneath, and then it takes off all this extra big bulky fender, and so then all you have left is just this part. That's quite a bit of work though, so honestly I'll probably just try to find the bumper for it and sell it that way. Got a guy going to be here in about a month to pick up a whole load of noses. That'll be good to get them out of the way. And I sold this one quite a while back, and every time I'm in town he's not available, and whenever he comes to town it seems like it just works out this way that I'm not available, so it's still sitting here. Yeah, I really wanted to get the crusher out here, but it's not going to happen, not until either later this year or next year now. Things just didn't go quite to plan, just so insanely busy. Hopefully prices are still up. If prices are still up, some of the stuff like this 49 Kaiser, I can go ahead and crush it. The retractable, I won't crush it. It's got a lot of good parts on it. I need to clean some of these noses up. Like these here, I mean, they're okay noses, but like this one here, like it sits, is worthless because nobody's going to buy that because it's just kind of ugly sitting here like this. So what I need to do is trim it up a little bit better, and then I've got a hood for it over here. I need to measure it out, get it cut off, get it put on the nose, and then that way it looks presentable, then I can sell it. Same thing with the red one, and then the Chevy over here, once again, had a good hood, so I sold that. So I need to go ahead and do what I was just talking about, taking it all apart and then cut it off a little bit better. You do all that, and then you take them and you put them up against the garage door, or you kind of stage them a little bit and then take pictures. They always sell a whole lot better than if you just take pictures of them out here laying in the grass unfinished like this. But it all takes time. it's hard to get it all done. I want to come in here, go ahead and drag this Cadillac out, probably just crush it. The Dodge truck, I've had a couple people interested in it, but nobody's bought it yet. That's kind of an unusual truck, a big block truck. It's got a 400 under the hood, but it's kind of on the rough side. Not much rust, but it's really beat up. It's been sideswiped on both sides. This side's the worst side. Then I got a couple more noses over here I need to do something with. That nose is sold. Then I got the little Honda wagon. I had a bunch of people interested in this one. I showed it once before, or several times before, but I priced it at 800 bucks, and everybody said I was absolutely crazy, which I understand. I mean, they want to get it for more like the $200-300 range, but I can crush it for more than that. And so I'm always of the perspective that I can easily pull off several $100s worth of easy to sell, easy to pull parts off of this car, and then crush the rest and get my 800. So it's hard to sell stuff for way less. I mean, I'll make a deal with somebody and sell stuff for a little bit less than what I can scrap it out for, but I can't give it away. This old clipper, this is what the nose came off of. I'll probably pull the trunk off of this one, cut it back here somewhere, and then go ahead and I'll probably crush the rest of it, honestly. Not a whole lot of value in these things. But then I've got some pretty nice cabs back here. I can't believe how hard these advanced design trucks have dropped. Man, I used to sell the fire out of those things. And so when all these popped up from different people, and I've got some more out back, I mean, they're all mostly rust-free trucks. When they popped up for sale for a good price, I jumped on it and I bought them all. But now they don't hardly sell. It's been a long time since I've sold one of these, the grain truck version. And now the pickups, if it's a complete pickup with the bed and all, I can still sell those. These trees here grow like crazy. There we go. But I mean, somebody will come through eventually and buy them. Worst case scenario, I'll cut the noses off and somebody will buy the cabs. But I have scaled way back on buying them. I've had the opportunity to buy probably a dozen of those in the last month or so, and I passed on them just because, I mean, unless they're cheap. If they're cheap, I'll buy them, but I'm not going to pay top dollar for them anymore if they're not selling. Oh, right here. This is a good example of what those noses look like when you take them all apart. And then you can just take the plasma cutter and just cut it right here and take this little flange on the bottom off, and then boom, you have a pretty good looking wall hanger. And these are really light, and they say Chevrolet across the front. This one doesn't have the greatest colors on it, but it's still okay. But yeah, I desperately need room out here, so I was really hoping to get the crusher in. It is full. I have my road kind of open. Over there it's a little bit blocked actually, and then I have a path that goes out back and a little road that goes around out back, and then I park my trailers all back there in that open area, and that's it. So I'm a little bit desperate. In a way it's good though. It stopped me from buying more. I've just went ahead and passed on a lot of trucks. I had a guy call me last week and he had 3 old grain trucks and said that he would sell them to me for $200 over scrap price, and I said, you know what, just go ahead and haul them in. So he hauled them into the shredder. It's unfortunate. One of them was like a 55 or 56 Chevy, not a speck of rust in that truck, and I probably could have done okay with it, but I can't gamble right now. I don't have anywhere to put that truck, period. Like those trucks that are out front, I got nowhere to put them. Whenever I do move those in, what I'm going to have to do is come in here and take some of the cars, like the old cars that aren't super valuable, and just go ahead and start stacking them to try to make some room. I offered to buy just the front half of the truck so I didn't have to deal with the whole thing, and they didn't want to do that. So life goes on. I don't need to buy them all. The shredder's got to eat too, so what do you do? And there it goes. He said that hood was way better than the one he has. His is all rotted out where the hood hinges bolt on, just completely rotted, gone. So he said he'd much rather work some dents out. Well, it looks like this is the only one my dad hauled in. Old Chevy, probably late 90s or so. Oh, what's this? Old toolbox. Doesn't look to be in too bad a condition. It's not too terrible. Looks like it's had water in it, but it doesn't look like it rusted out. Just lots of surface rust in there. But it's got the little latching lid boxes on top. That's cool. And they work. Huh. The lid's both closed. The latches work. The little lock deal's on it still. It's got a few dents, but it's not in terrible condition. So I think I'll save that. I bet that'll sell pretty good. That's a cool old box. Other than that, I don't really see anything else in there. Anything in here? Oh, just a bunch of just miscellaneous cheap tools. There's a short Phillips. Is it any good though? No, it's not bad. It's better than nothing. I know that Scooby-Doo van, when I pulled the gauges out of it, there's one screw that you have to have a stubby Phillips to get on it. And all I have was my long one, so I had to do some finagling. So I'll just throw this in the loader. It's a little bit worn out, but like I say, it's better than nothing. anything inside. It's filthy in here. I don't think we're going to dig around too much. Yeah, this would be late 90s, 95 or newer with this style dash, so parts on these just isn't quite as valuable, or aren't quite as valuable if I can speak proper English. Not worth quite as much as the older ones, like the 94 and older dash parts. I'm sure they will be eventually, but I'm not in the mood to speculate. Whew, that wind is cold today. Cold, cold. It's supposed to get up in the 70s, but man, right now it is chilly. I want to grab this. I guess I'll go throw it in my truck. I only had one converter to pull off. My dad brought this Honda in yesterday towards the end of the day. So I got that off, so I guess I'll go ahead and fire the crusher up. Got to pull a few aluminum wheels off and crush the rest of these. Time to crush some cars. I was glad to be able to sell the 6.0 liter out of this one here. I was a little bit worried I was going to have to crush it. I always felt guilty crushing certain things like that, but I mean, I'll do it. I ain't going to stop crushing. But it always feels good when I can find a home for something. There we go. Load number 2 is now complete. Bingo. Looking pretty good. Once we get, multiple loads on the ground, we'll check on price. I know it went down $20 this month. I'm not sure what prices are going to do next month. I guess we'll find out. But regardless of what prices do, we're probably going to go ahead and send some, just because I don't have a ton of room to stack bundles out here. Until I ship a bunch of those cars in there that are stacked up in massive piles, once I get a bunch of those gone, then yeah, we'll have room. We can stack bundles if we have to, but until that point, I've got to keep them going. So I think once we get about 5 or 6 loads on the ground, I'll schedule trucks for 2 or 3 days. That'll probably be next week though. And there we go. He just came and pulled the brake booster off of this thing here. I can't believe he called just as I was getting ready to crush this thing, wanting to know if I had any of them. Talk about saved by the bell. And then I had another guy message me on eBay yesterday, ask if I had any like 90 or 91 Firebirds, and I said, yeah, I got one out at my place. He said, I need a brake proportioning valve off of one. I said, okay, I'll have to check and see if it's on the car still. I'll let you know. That was yesterday afternoon. And then this morning, he sends me a big old nasty message on eBay wanting to know why I'm blowing him off and why I don't want to deal with him and how I'm such a horrible person. And it's like, dude, I am so insanely busy working out here at this yard, and I've got so many important things going on, I can't shut down everything to go look for a $20 proportioning valve. Sometimes I'm like my dad, and I just get in these moods where I just don't even want to mess with parts anymore. I just want to crush it all. My dad done told me everything out here, if I want to crush it, crush it. If I want to save it, then I can save it. It's up to me. He just wants to crush it all. So anything gets saved at all out of this place, it's because of me. Then he sends me a message a minute ago and says, well, I've seen you pull parts for other people and you just don't want to pull parts for me. You must have something against me. I'm like, dude, I don't even know you. Just, I wasn't busy then and I am busy now, so I don't know what to tell you. If I was working out at my place, or if I was going out there anyway, it wouldn't be a big deal, but I won't be out there again until middle of next week. And I get it, it's confusing for people because they see my videos, and sometimes some of my crushing videos especially, they'll be filmed over the course of 2 weeks. So they'll see me at the yard crushing cars, and then they'll see me out at my place, and they'll see me at the yard crushing cars, and they'll see me out at my place, all in the same span of 30 minutes. But in reality, I mean, sometimes those things are a week apart. But oh well, I'm done ranting. Just know, if you want parts, if I can get them for you, I will. If I can't, I can't. There's not much I can do about it. these full-size vans, I have to crush the van first, set it to the side, crush something else, and then I can put the van back on top of it, and they make really good top bundles because there's nothing on this van that can blow off. Oh, I forgot. I was going to pull the hood off of that truck so I could put it on the ground here. Oh well. Too late now. There'll be plenty of other hoods later. My help wasn't able to make it today. He's buying the house that he's been renting, and so he's having to deal with that. And so that's another thing, is today I'm not going to bother with pulling any parts. You know, if he's out here helping me and the parts are here at this location, like say I had one of those Firebirds here and he was here, I'd have him pull it off. It wouldn't be a big deal, but he's not here and the car's not here. So I just wanted to clarify that as well, that if you see me pulling parts, yeah, I do save a lot of parts, but it kind of matters timing of where the parts are, where I'm at, where my help's at, and so there's so many variables to it. Parts is just a hobby for me. Any parts that I save are a bonus. But, ooh, man, big bump. Oh, looks like I have a customer here. This is my uncle. I'm gonna grab the car off of his trailer, and that'd be another good crusher. I'm glad he told me that. The roof's not attached, so I'm gonna hook onto it on the back and just drag it off the back of his trailer. Here's that hybrid battery. Whew, this is heavy. I really need to get me a different mount. I don't like putting this camera on my hat. I have a mount that goes on a hat or like a headband, or I have a chest mount, but the problem is the way it moves around, the way this camera works, it just doesn't create very good footage, and it kind of gives people motion sickness. But I was looking at a pair of, they're called Meta glasses. It's like camera in a pair of glasses. And a friend of mine has a pair, and I really like them, and he made a couple videos, and they look really good. Anyway, it's hard to do this one-handed, so let me put this down real quick. There we go. I'll take it up in there a little bit further here in a minute, but those have about a $300 or $400 core value on them. And if you know they're working, and you like know that every cell in there, if you test them and know every cell is good, you can get about $700 or $800 out of them. But I usually sell them for about $200, just as is, where is. To get the core value, I've got to ship it in on a pallet, and shipping one at a time, the shipping eats up the difference in price. So I'll give somebody a good deal. I mean, at $200, even if one of the cells is bad or something like that, you can afford to replace it, and you have a high dollar battery. On eBay, some of these things are $1,500 and $2,000. Now that's guaranteed working, but man, for scrap value, there's no value at all. And I can't leave them in the cars because they go boom, and you crush them, big old fireball. Yeah, we'll get that on Marketplace here in a little bit. I forgot to see what year the car is, but we saved this semi-trailer. I don't think I ever showed you guys these semi-trailers. There was a company came in and we bought, I don't know, it was like 25 semi-trailers from. I took one out to my place, and then we scrapped all the others, and then we took this one back here because we knew we were going to be bringing the crusher in here eventually. So we put it back here for storage for stuff like that. It's not watertight, but it's better than just laying out in the rain. We got a bunch of bundles already crushed back here in this corner, but I don't know when we're going to get back in that far. I'm really looking forward to getting in there next week and getting started on that. Years ago, there used to be a bar right here. The foundation's still there. The rest of it they tore down probably, I don't know, it's been quite a few years. None of these storage units were here back in those days. But anyway, I don't remember all the exact details. I think a guy was leaving the bar and he was under the influence and he pulled out in front of somebody, or he left there and hit somebody down the street, or I forget the details. But anyway, long story short is somehow an innocent lady ended up getting put into a coma. It was a car wreck. It was a bad deal, but they kept her on life support and she was in a coma for years. I mean, years and years and years and years and years and years. And then here, can't remember now. I think it's been about 10 years ago or so. She randomly woke up one day. That would be absolutely wild, to be in a coma for 20 years and then all of a sudden just wake up and be like, oh, where 20 years ago? Why do I not look the same anymore? That bar was actually a pretty hopping place back in the day. I guess Led Zeppelin used to play there and some pretty big name bands. Hutchinson used to be a really hopping town. It was one of the biggest cities in Kansas at one time. It was known as Little Manhattan. We had our own amusement park. It was really quite the place once upon a time. It's not bad here. It's usually fairly quiet. I mean, it has its issues and whatnot, but like I say, it's nice being in a smaller town. I'm not a big city person, so it's nice because Wichita is only about 30 minutes away from my house, and so if I need to run to Wichita and get something, it's not a big deal. But I just got me some Arby's, so I figured I'd drive up here on top of the hill and park up here and look out over the the junkyard. Didn't used to be able to drive up here. It used to be even hard just to even get up here. I remember as a kid walking, if it was any mud or rain at all, you couldn't get up here on the state, and Honeywell came in here and redid it all. They put dirt and planted grass, so now you can get around. Look at that view. There's a lot of cars out there. I remember that bus, I don't know if you can see it, kind of right there beside that tree. I remember playing on that as a kid. And one time I was up on the roof of that. It's got a luggage rack on top. I was up there playing and a skunk came out of it and stood there on the ground and stared at me and I couldn't get down. A lot of memories in this place out here as a little kid. A lot of memories. Here's the last bucket full of aluminum wheels and tires. My dad and I got them all gathered up. There we go. Probably about a fourth of the way full now. And with that, the third load is on the ground. My dad and he wanted to go mushroom hunting, so we went out mushroom hunting at a place north of town a little ways, and we found, well, actually I have it right here in my pocket. We found one little itty bitty tiny mushroom, and he actually found it. So we should have left that one, let it grow. But that was the only one, so I probably won't bother going back to that spot this year anyway. But I figured I'll come out here to my place. Shocker, I didn't plan on coming out here, but then I sold some stuff on eBay, so I had to come out here anyway. But I'm gonna check over here and see if any mushrooms are growing. I never found any out here ever until last year at the very end of the season, and I found a handful of them growing. But by that point in the year, they were all dried up. Now, like I say, up north of town, didn't find any, and it's about the same type of soil as it is here. So I don't know if we'll find any here or not. It might be a little bit too early in the season, or they might not be growing at all. Oh, check it out right there. Right there. A little tiny patch of 4 of them growing. Looks like these 2 here got a little bit sun cooked, but these 2 are good. I'll go ahead and pick that little batch of 4. Any others? Oh, I see one over there. See, yep, they're growing again this year. That is awesome. These are pretty small. Normally I wouldn't mess with picking them, but as you can see, they're starting to dry out on top, and so if I don't just go ahead and pick them now, by the time I get back to town, they'll be no good. Oh, check it out. Here's a good one. A good couple of them. Yeah, those are looking real good there. Man. Are they still going to be any good in a few days? These aren't dried out on top, so I bet these would keep growing, especially if I put something on top of them so they don't get baked directly by the sun. You know what? I've already got a bunch of mushrooms at home. We're going to take a chance on these here and kind of cover them up a little bit so they don't get direct sunlight. We're taking a chance here. The deer might eat these. I'm not worried about anybody else picking them because this is my property, but they may not be here. There we go. Because they're so fresh, I think they'll keep growing. And so those might be some really big mushrooms in a week, or they might be gone in a week. If I didn't already have a boatload of mushrooms, I would go ahead and pick them, or if they were starting to dry out. Let's see if we can find any others real quick. Make sure I don't miss any drying out ones. Last year I didn't find any beyond this point. They kind of they grew right here beside this old international truck, and then they grew on around over here. Man, these trees. Yeah, they grew right here where I just picked this little cluster. But over here around the corner, I found a boatload of them back here. Here's that light I found back here in the trees. I left it here to mark the spot. And this whole area was covered in morel mushrooms. But most of them were way too far gone to save. Oh, there's one right there. I walked right over the top of it. 2 of them. Oh, 3 of them. There's one right next to my foot. I might be stomping on them. You know what? We're just going to stop. Whoa, I just about stepped on a whole bunch of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're growing everywhere. You know what we're going to do? Is we're going to put that right there to kind of block that afternoon sun a little bit. And that way I'll know they're all growing right here beside it. There's another one. Oh, I did step on some. Whoops. Man. Whew. How did I not see those? There's a whole bunch of them. I ruined this one. Well, I didn't ruin it. I'll go ahead and take this. There's a little tiny one there. Oh yeah. Yep, next week we're coming back in here. We're going to pick all these. We'll kind of do an experiment. I'll leave these uncovered. These are covered by this, and the ones over there are covered by leaves. And we'll see which ones grow the best. I'll be a little bit more careful where I walk. Yep, there's another one. How did I miss all these? I have no clue. I mean, I walked through here looking real careful and I missed them all. Sometimes it takes my eyes a second to adjust. But, okay, now we know they're out here. We'll come back, and if they all dry up or they all get eaten, oh well, life goes on. That is awesome though to find them, because in years past, since I bought this property, I always was hoping I'd find morels out here, and I never did. But then last year I found those, and then this year I found them again, so definitely exciting. But I am not out here for morels today. I am out here to get the stuff that's sold on eBay. I have a guy coming to pick up a truck here in a few weeks, and he needs to know the dimensions of it, so I got to get that measured. Then I had a guy says he's super interested in buying some trucks from me, so he wanted some pictures. We'll see if it works out or if I'm wasting my time. All right, without the bed, 21 feet long, about 8 feet wide. I'll be glad to get this international gone. It was one that was just too nice really for me to cut up. Probably one of the nicest ones I've ever had. A little bit of rust, but not much at all. But I just couldn't bring myself to junk it out. And so having somebody buying this truck really makes me feel good. It's been sitting here in my way for all this time because I didn't want to move it around and tear it up. The boat, I thought I had it sold, but I guess now the guy backed out because I haven't heard from him. But I get it moved around. I can open this area in here up again a little bit. I used to have this area open all the time, and I really liked it because I could get a lot of stuff done, and whenever I knew someone was coming to pick something up, I could have it just sitting right here ready to go. I don't know what this sinkhole is, but every time it rains, it gets a little bit deeper. I don't know if there was tree roots that collapsed underground, or I don't know what's going on here, but it keeps going down, down, down. I have to keep an eye on that, but the water runs right here over the top of it, and so whatever cavity was underground washed out finally. And here we go. This is what sold on eBay is these trailer plugs here. If that guy on eBay would have been a little bit less rude to me, I'd go over there and check on that proportioning valve for him, but I don't feel like doing it now. I didn't plan on coming out here. If I would have known I was going to be out here, I would have said so, but I did not know. All right, time to do what I didn't have time to do last night. I got to get some of these license plates out. I sold a group of these on eBay, but I had a guy say he's from Europe and he didn't want to pay the shipping fees that it costs to ship a group of these over there. And so he wants me to ship a lot of these to a friend of us here in the United States that puts stuff together, and when he has a crate full of stuff, he ships it to him that way. It's a lot cheaper in the long run. And eBay has changed it now to where you cannot change the shipping address. So it wasn't an option for him to go ahead and buy them and then have me send them to his friend. I don't normally do this where I sell plates directly to somebody. Normally I put them on eBay and whoever gets them gets them. But he's buying some other stuff from me as well, some signs and whatnot, and so I figured I'd go ahead and make an exception. And then in addition to that, I sold this spotlight on eBay. This is one of the ones that I bought at the antique store. I've sold quite a bit of the stuff I bought at the antique store in that video, and so far I've made money on everything. There hasn't been anything that I listed that I ended up losing money on, even after eBay fees and everything, so it's working out pretty good. I went back to one of those antique stores the other day actually looking for some other stuff, and I checked out that place where I got all those carburetors, and he hasn't put any new carburetors in there. He did put some other stuff in there, but he raised all his prices on stuff, I feel like, so there wasn't any good deals to be had there. It's very possible that he watched my video and he was like, so I might have ruined it for myself, but that's okay. It's not like I need to buy more stuff anyway. And he was also looking to buy some vintage signs, so I had these here. I bought those two at an auction, I bought these two at an auction, and I bought that at an auction. All three different auctions. I figured I'd go ahead and cook up the mushrooms I found today. I've got some that I cooked the other day, some leftovers here, and some leftover stir fry, and so our microwave is not currently working. Brand new, doesn't work, go figure. But anyway, I'm gonna warm all this back up in here and mix the mushrooms and the stir fry together and have my dinner. And there we go, dinner is served on my fancy china, and to go with it, I've got a coffee, because it's gonna be an all-nighter. And now I am editing this video, and I realized I never recorded a closing. I had to come out here in the shop and get some stuff that sold on eBay, and it's hard to believe that we're at the end of May and it's so cold right now. I had to put on my robe and it's still cold. We're having March temperatures at the end of May. Not that I'm complaining, I'll definitely take this over those 100-degree days that we were having last year. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, the very first car crushing video out of the new yard. As of editing this part of the video, we've actually crushed quite a bit. I won't spoil the surprise, but there's quite a bit has been crushed by now. But you're just gonna have to stay tuned and keep watching the videos if you wanna see all that. I have a couple good auction videos recorded that I need to put out, and then I have a few other videos that are gonna be really cool for you as well. So with that, I will let you all go. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Remember to get out there, find yourself an adventure. We will see you on the next one.